All right, joining me today, Cincinnati Bengals third-round pick of Rutgers University in the 2012 NFL Draft, wide receiver Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? Good to see you, Josh. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I just want to talk to you about, your Rutgers guy. Do you miss the old Big East Conference as much as I do?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That Big East conference, that was a formidable conference that people didn't respect as much just because we weren't the big name SEC schools. But you you got a lot of great talented players that came out of the Big East. Um, Me and my boy Tavon Austin, we had a conversation about this recently. We were talking about how the Big East was different, man.
I know Tavon. I met him a lot of times because I covered WU too. I'm originally from West Virginia, so spent a lot of time around Tavon Austin. But I miss that conference. I don't necessarily like the way they do things geography wise with the college football today, and I don't
hmm
think it makes much sense. But I miss those old Big East days.
Well, now it's not about the geographical locations. It's more about the TV revenues, the TV deals, and the amount of revenue we can get audience.
So you played over your career. You played with some of the best QBs the league has ever seen, as far as Tom Brady and Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford. So I just wanted to start off by asking you, who I may already know the answer to this, but who had the best ability to earn the locker room's trust, and how did they go about doing that?
I think they all had a different way of earning a locker room's trust. And I didn't get to spend a long time with Tom, but Tom did a tremendous job of doing that. His communication from player to player, coach to player, he just knew how to engage with each and every one of those guys, and it was something that was really really unique and different. And Matt had his ability too, but everybody had their own different ways. And staff, he did his thing as well. Like I said, I didn't get much time with both Matt Staff and Tom Brady, but we were able to build a similar connection, but it wasn't we weren't able to establish it the way we would have liked to.
So you were known as a guy that could pretty much do everything, playing quarterback and things like that. I just wondered, did it ever come up to where being able to do everything could kind of hinder you, at wide receiver, or maybe work against you in any way?
No, I just saw it as a superpower. It gave me the ability to be a guy that can save a roster spot when you needed a extra return guy, or you may need a quarterback in a situation you didn't have to carry three on the roster. It made me more valuable in a sense. Um, so I looked at it as a superpower and not as a hindrance.
So, what was one of the toughest moments of your career? And also, I think I may already know the answer to this one too, and it's probably something you touched on a lot. But what was one of the toughest moments ultimately in your career that made you a better teammate and a better person?
Uh, I would say being traded mid-season and breaking my ankle, 2 weeks when I got there and playing through that injury for the remainder of the season. That taught me resilience. It taught me um, you know character. It made me reevaluate myself in ways that I haven't before, and I had to learn and grow in a capacity that I didn't knew I was able to. And it just helped me in the long run in life, not just athletics.
So, I want to talk to you about the whole, 2006 year of 2016, the whole Falcons Patriots Super Bowl 28-3 and all that.
Mhm.
My son he's 9 years old and he's into football now, and we've talked about momentum before. So, I don't know necessarily if momentum is just a physical thing or just a gravitational pull, or if it even exists, but there's something about momentum that is actually a thing. So, what was it about that game that changed just the whole aspect? And I will say that year I'm a Falcons, Cubs, and Cavs fan, and the Cubs and Cavs won that year, and I almost had the trifecta, if Atlanta would have won the Super Bowl year, but that's okay, we'll get back there. But is it about momentum that played a factor in that Super Bowl?
Just the ability that the way they came out in that second half, and they came out with ultimate resilience. I mean, we came out and we tried to continue and close it, but the way that they prepare, being a part of that team a couple years later, you saw why they were able to battle it, play all 60 minutes, and even into the overtime. They had that tenacity, that had that resilience to get them to that point. Um, and like you said, momentum is a real thing. I mean, there's no thing about it. Like you feel it, the shifts and plays that were being made, big plays that went their way and didn't go our way, and that's how football goes sometimes.
So if you could define momentum, how what would you say it is? Would you say it's a physical presence or some kind of gravitational pull? But like I said, it does exist.
It's its own thing. It's not a simple way to describe it. Once you feel it, you know that it's there. Um, it's just like air. You can't describe air. You just feel it. You know it's there. You intake it. But you can't see it. You can't feel it. You just know it's there.
So what has the game of football taught you that you use in everyday life? Nowadays.
Just the discipline, the day to day hard work, being dedicated to you know bettering yourself every day. Um, every each day it's this new day. Like what yesterday doesn't account to what today is. So you have to show up and put the work in order to be successful in today's environment.
So let's talk about your golf event. I wanted you to kind of promote it a little bit. Your golf event. I know you do a lot of work with the youth. So just tell me what all you have going on in that aspect.
Yeah, I did a golf event last month for my mother. She has a facility, community center that she's building back in my native country, Freetown, Sierra Leone, and it was a good event. We had a bunch of people come out and show love, and they helped out in tremendous ways, and it's just shedding light on underprivileged, underserved community that kids don't have access to internet like we do at our fingertips every day, and we're trying to do great things for the community, and I always tell her, I commend her for you know always being that light, that leader, and within your community.
So if you had an opportunity to go back and give Mohamed Sanu, younger Mohamed Sanu, some advice, what would you tell him during the draft process, and what would you sit down and tell him, he can look forward to, maybe what to watch out for, and things like that.
I would just tell them, just continue to stay humble, continue to work hard, um, be grateful for every moment, because it's gonna come and go like just like that, and live within where your feet are. Like always be where your feet are. Don't ever look too far ahead. Don't look in the past, because you can't do anything about those times, but you can do something about here right now.
What is something that you miss about playing the game that you didn't really know you would miss until you were retired?
I would say the competition and the camaraderie, being in the locker room, being around the guys. You know, you got a group of guys that are all from different backgrounds, different parts of the country, um, have different paths to get to that point, but we all want the same thing, same common goal. And you got to meet a lot of unique people, and those relationships, you garner, you hold them dear to you, and you continue to keep in contact with those guys. But it was fun going into battle with those guys every week.
I always like to ask too, the questions that everybody asks. Where were some of the favorite places to play, and do you have any kind of funny locker room stories that people may not know?
I loved you know playing home, obviously in Atlanta, the old Georgia Dome. That was a electric place to play in. And then obviously Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a beautiful stadium, but playing in New Orleans is a great experience. You go in there, it's everybody against you guys, and it's loud. you can't hear anything, and to go in and you make a critical play or silence the crowd is it's a it's a unique experience. And same thing like playing in Seattle. That's a beautiful place. Um, AT&T Stadium. That was a nice arena. Uh, Jerry Jones did a great job putting that together. And just there's just been really cool stadiums that like the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. That's a very nice stadium. Um, and then the old Oakland Raiders baseball stadium. It's that's a unique place to play. Fans they love their team for sure.
So, what about places like the history of Lambeau and things like that? Do you
Yeah,
ever have that feeling when you step on Lambeau Field of just looking around, just taking it all in?
yeah. Lambeau Field was a experience in itself. You know, walking out of that small tunnel and then stepping on the field, and that it was frigid cold. Like that cold it's different.
It's definitely unforgiving.
Definitely unforgiving for sure. But to be able to have played in those places you dream of doing a dream come true for sure. I'm forever grateful that I had that opportunity.
So, what was one thing for you that you would say was sort of your welcome to the NFL moment? Did you have one specific moment that you thought that?
I was honestly my first game. Um, we played the Baltimore Ravens, soon to be Super Bowl champs again, 2012, and we were in. It was Monday night game. We were at Baltimore, and you see they called the defense out, and then you see Ray Lewis do his uh, his ritual, his dance to come out on the field, and it's like one of those surreal moments. You're like, man, I'm really about to play in an NFL game, and it's incredible. Bless you, baby. It's incredible. It's one of those moments you're just like, wow, yeah, I made it to the destination. Now what will I do with it? And then my first significant play, um, when I threw that touchdown pass to AJ Green, that was my actually like first significant play in the NFL.
So you threw a touchdown pass to AJ Green and Julio Jones, right? Weren't you like 7 of 8 with like 6 touchdowns or something?
Yes, I'm like I think I had 4 touchdowns, but yeah, I was 7 for 8 um, for 4 touchdowns. It was fun to do that too, because like I said, to show your talents and your skills, the gifts that God bless you with, to be able to share that with the world is a wonderful thing.
So did you have a fancy pen for your first contract? And if so, did you end up keeping that pen? A lot of players keep it.
I didn't have a fancy pen.
They didn't hand you a little pen and a little box for you to sign your first contract with.
No, they just gave me a pen, and I
Just
was
gave
just
you a big pen out of the box and said, "Here you go."
yeah. I was just like, hey, let me sign this thing. I was grateful just to be able to receive an NFL contract and be able to get to the second one. So it was a blessing for sure.
So would you say a lot of people don't realize when it comes to NFL players, camp is different than what it used to be in the late 80s, early 90s, but would you say it's mostly up to the player to keep themselves in shape and eat the right things and have the right diet when and during the off season? Would you say that?
It's always the case. It's always been that way. But now they have a lot of help along the way. Um, I know the trainers and the staff do a great job of trying to keep you prepared and ready for the upcoming season, throughout the off season and within the season. But I know for a fact, like you have to come into shape, ready to go, ready to run, knowing that you got a lot of running to do, a lot of high intense reps, and you got to be able to perform at a high level.
So my last question that I wrap up every interview with is what is one thing that you want people to know about you that they may not?
I'm just, you know, human just like them. That I'm a guy that loves the game of football and was, really blessed to be able to play the way that I was able to play with the gifts and the talents. Um, and I'm grateful I had the opportunity to share my gifts and talents with everybody.
All right. So as you may have noticed, we had some technical difficulties there at the end of that interview, and it just would not cooperate. We tried to record it a couple different times, but we just lacked one question, but that's okay. We got all the good stuff. So, if you're enjoying these interviews, please like and subscribe. Thank you all for the support, and I'll see you on the next one.